Good morning, guys and gals, or afternoon or evening, whatever it is where you are. It's as I'm recording this, it's 7:15 on the Tuesday morning after the VBOA weekend. I had yesterday off because if you go camping for a weekend at VBOA, you don't really want to be going straight back to work on the Monday morning. It's not really advisable. So yeah, I had a nice day off work yesterday, chilling out. So yeah, back to work this morning. So I'm just driving back over from Becky's house. If you've seen the last video, you'll know who Becky is. She's actually on the the thumbnail picture of the last video. That's my fiance Bex. She's car mad. She absolutely loves and adores Orwin, so she's an absolute keeper. But yeah, I'm just driving back over from her house. She lives out near High Peak in the Peak District. Of course, look, I'm stuck behind this bloody van, so I'm gonna have to do a cheeky little overtake in a minute when I know it's safe to do so. It's not quite safe yet. But no, on this video I want to talk to you about my plans, upcoming plans with my other cars, you know, what I'm thinking about doing and everything. Just looking whether it's going to be safe to overtake here or not. Yeah, it should be. Oh no, car's coming the other way, fuck's sake. Pardon my French. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you about the plans for my other cars, what I'm planning on doing next. So obviously now Orwin's back on road as my daily driver, I don't really need the Astra anymore. So I'm going to do a few little jobs that still need doing on Orwin before I sell the Astra. But then ultimately the Astra is going to go up for sale, my twin top. Thing is, I only bought the twin top because my ex didn't like Orwin, because at the time Orwin was my daily driver, but she didn't like riding in Orwin, and she didn't like him covered in rust, and she used to say, oh, what on earth did you buy that for, it's covered in bullet holes, you know. She used to be really derogatory towards poor old Orwin, whereas Bex absolutely bloody loves him. She does, she absolutely adores him. So yeah, happy days. I actually said at the VBOA, I was talking to one guy, and I says to him, I knew she were a keeper when she said she loved Orwin. But yeah, it's just the difference between some people, isn't it? See, some people look at Orwin and think he's a bit of a rusty old banger. Other people look at Orwin and they get him, they understand what he's all about, you know. He's got that natural patina, the ratty look. Going for it. Not staying stuck behind that bloody van. Not a cat in hell's chance I'm staying stuck behind him. God, this car is so bloody fun to drive, guys. I can't explain to you how fun this car is to drive. Of course, we've got rain now. We've had enough rain this month. But yeah, that's the thing, now that Orwin's on the road, and it's so much more fun to drive than the Astra. The Astra's lovely, don't get me wrong. You know, the Astra H is a really nice car to have as a daily driver. The only thing that lets the twin top down is it's just heavy. It is a heavy car, and it just stunts the performance. You know, the 1.8 16 valve that's in it is a really good engine, but when it's tugging along the extra weight of the twin top, it just really struggles to get up to speed, you know. Like, to accelerate up like I have now in the Astra, you'd be having to thrash it. Whereas in this, because it's like a good 400 kilograms lighter, I'm barely having to touch the throttle to get the same kind of performance. So that's why ultimately Orwin's actually better on fuel and more economical even though the Astra's a much newer car, just open the window a bit because it was steaming up a little bit with the damp. You know, Orwin ends up being better on fuel. He's done brilliant on fuel this weekend as well. I mean, I put 71 quid in of super unleaded, and that's lasted me driving over from Sheffield over to Becky's, which is like 28 miles ish. Actually no, it's 32 the way that I went. Then we've been down to VBOA at Sewell, then we've driven all the way back up to Becky's, and I've still got just under half a tank. It's displaying just under half a tank. I think it might be a little bit lower than that, but to have done all them miles on maybe 35-40 quid, fucking get over. See that idiot then in that Beamer coming round in middle of the road? I do love this road. Look at that scenery in front. If I just angle the camera a bit better, look at that, it's absolutely beautiful. I have to admit, I am so lucky being able to drive on scenic roads like this on a regular basis. I might live in Sheffield, but I live right on the outskirts of Sheffield, and then obviously, I mean, Sheffield's not a built-up city anyway. It's not like London, it's not like Manchester, it's not like Birmingham, it's not like Leeds, you know, that are really heavily built upon. Sheffield's more like a massive village. It's more like a big town. It is a city, and it is actually about the 4th or 5th biggest city in the country, but it don't feel like a big city. It feels like a big town with the way that it's laid out. You know, there isn't many big skyscrapers or anything in the city centre, and it's very green, and it's right on the edge of the countryside. It's right on the edge of the Peak District. You know, it neighbours with Derbyshire. But anyway, yeah, I'm digressing a bit talking about other things, but yeah, so my plan is do a few extra little jobs on Orwin that I need to get done. Once they're done and I'm happy that they're sorted, I shall make Orwin my daily driver again. And to be honest, I'm going to be using them as much as physically possible. I'm going to be using them all this week. I'm obviously going to work in him today because I ain't been home yet from going camping at the weekend. I'll go to work in him again probably Wednesday morning, and probably Thursday and probably Friday as well. I'll probably just stay going to work in him all week. I'll be back over to Becky's Friday night. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and then we're back over to my house on Sunday. So we've got an event with some of the guys from Mark II Cav going. It's actually a couple of the guys, they've renewed the wedding vows, and we're having a bit of a party to celebrate the renewal. So that's on the Sunday night, so that'll be cool to catch up with some of the guys again from the weekend. That'd be cool. So yeah, I'll get the Astra sorted then and get the Astra up for sale, and then I'll be down to 7 cars. The question is then what to do next. Well, what I've been thinking is I want to get me Cav convertible sorted, because I'd love to be able to take that to VBOA next year, my Cav convertible, because I've owned that nearly as long as I've owned Sylvia. You know, I've owned Sylvia 13 years this year, and I've owned the convertible about 11, maybe 12, you know. But the difference is the convertible's never been on the road in all the time I've owned it. So that's where the big difference is. So I'm going to do, you know, put some proper concerted effort into getting that sorted. But I also want to get my Vectra done as well, my Vectra GSI, because again at VBOA this weekend, I've seen some really nice Vectra GSIs, and they do look nice cars. You know, seeing them there at the show makes me remember why I bought mine in the first place. You know, I really do think they're a nice looking car. There's something about the shape and style of the Vectra B GSI. I just think it's a nice looking car. It's a very distinctive shape. It's a very different shape, and those mirrors that swoop around from the bonnet as well. I think they're a very, you know, they're unique, aren't they? They're unique to the Vectra B. I think it's just a nice looking car, and I wouldn't mind getting that on the road to be able to use it as like a winter daily, so that I'm not actually having to use Orwin as much, because I want to get Orwin on the road as a daily driver. Well, he is now, but at the same time I've spent that much time doing welding and rust repairs to, you know, to get him as he is now and MOT'd, that I think to myself, do I actually really want to be using him right through the winter on the salty roads and everything? You know, I want to keep him so he's on the road so I can use him when I want to use him. But then I also think, do I really want to use him every single day on the snow, on the ice, you know, in literally all weathers? And I think to myself, maybe I don't really. You know, he's got to that age now. He's nearly 40-year-old. You know, the rust repairs, as you've seen on my previous videos, have got more and more in depth. You know, I've just been chasing the rust, and I've been having to repair old repairs. I've been having to redo old repairs. I mean, the repairs I've done should last for decades, you know, so maybe I'm panicking and worrying over nothing, but part of me does think to myself, you know, I ought to get my Vectra GSI on the road and maybe have that as a daily driver through the winter, just so that Orwin don't have to drive on them horrible salted roads, and just try and preserve him a bit better, you know, just try and preserve him, try and stop him from rotting away. I am going to absolutely coat him underneath with thick layers of hammerite and wax oil and whatever else. That's one of the other jobs I intend to do these next couple of months before the winter does kick in. Because the thing is, even this idea of getting my Vectra on the road, it's not going to be something that's going to happen in a day. I mean, look how many months it's took me to get Orwin ready for an MOT. So it's going to be the same situation with Vectra. I know that the Vectra does need quite a lot of work, and it might take me months to get the Vectra sorted. So, you know, it's not going to be a quick, easy job to sort the Vectra. Oh, look at this bloody Astra here. Astra in front of this Transit, dawdling along at 10 mile an hour under the speed limit. It's the only problem on these roads, you do get idiots like this sometimes who just proper dawdle along, and it's like, it's so chuffing frustrating. I don't know if the Transit's going to try and overtake. I hope he does. Is he going to try and overtake? No. Oh, we're coming down into a 40 zone now anyway. But yeah, the Vectra, yeah, it does need a lot of work. It needs a fair bit of welding and body work, and probably brake pipes. It's got that leak on the power steering pump that I showed you guys a few months ago, because I was actually trying to get the Vectra on the road as a daily driver, but because it needed so much work, that's why I ended up buying the twin top instead. I ended up buying the twin top because it was easier just to go and buy another car that were roadworthy than it was to try and get that sorted. So, you know, the Vectra was going to get sorted, but I then realised it needed that much work, it just wasn't going to get done in time, so I bought the Astra. Then of course, VBOA, we've seen all these amazing Novas, and then that just like spurs me on again to get my Nova done. And I've got so many people saying, Rich, you need to get your Nova done, you need to get your Nova done. And Becky absolutely loves Novas. You know, she had a lot of friends back in the 90s who had Novas, and she absolutely loves them. You know, she keeps saying, oh Rich, you need to sort the Nova. So I've got my fiance on my back as well about getting Nova sorted. And I've been saying as well, you know, the daft thing is the Nova, it has got a couple of quite bad bits of rust, like at the back end of the sills and the back arches. But the other bits of rust are actually no worse than the repairs I've done on Orwin over these last few weeks, these last few months. So really, you know, other than the back arches and the back bit of the sills, the work needed on Orwin's not actually that bad. It's not actually that bad at all. The work needed on the Nova's not actually that bad. But I do need to get it done. I do need to get it done. I think I'm going to have to do an overtake here, guys. Well, the van's going for it. So I'm going for it as well. Thank God he decided to overtake. Say if he'd not, I were going to overtake both of them, but thankfully he's decided to overtake, so... It is so nice having the extra power and torque and everything that this car's got. As I say, it's one thing that's so frustrating with the twin top. Once you're up to speed, it's brilliant. But it just takes so much winding up, it takes so much getting up to speed. Just because of the weight it's pulling along. It's still not as heavy as some modern day cars though. I think it's only about 1500 kilogram. Having said that, a modern day Fiesta weighs as much. A modern day Corsa weighs as much. So it's not that heavy really, but yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing again. So the Mark 1 Cavalier as well. I did them videos last year. Driving, it was absolutely mint. Driving absolutely amazingly well. But then of course it started running like a bag of nails again. And if you've seen the videos that I've done recently, try to get it running right, I just can't get it running right. But I think it's the fuel tank that's at fault. I really do think it's the fuel tank at fault. I think I need to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a can of fuel, and I'm going to clean out the fuel filter, and I'm going to try starting it just running a pipe directly from a can of fuel. A nice clean fresh can of fuel, run the pipe directly from that and see if it is actually because of the tank. I think it's just sucking through a load of dirt and rust and whatever other crap is down in the bottom of the fuel tank, and I think that's the reason why it's running like a bag of spanners. Because my mate Barry, he's not long ago bought a Mark II Astra Estate, a rare 3-door Astra Estate, and that were running rough, and couldn't get it to run right, and it'd like go so long and then it'd just cut out. It'd go so long and then just cut out, and he's put that down to the fuel tank, and being full of rust, full of crud. And he's actually just bought himself a brand new fuel tank. So it'd be interesting to see if that does actually solve his problems as well, because the Mark 1 had run really, really badly for ages, and then I put the new fuel tank on, the GTE Manta GT fuel tank, and it ran spot on, but it only ran spot on for about 2 days, and then it started running crap again. And the only thing I'd changed was the tank. So I think that initially changing the tank worked, but then since then it had started sucking all the crap through, and it's blocked something, and that's why it's just struggling to rev, it's struggling to run, because like I say, I think it's just pulling the crap through. You know, this is where you can tell the difference with Orwin and versus the twin top as well. It's like here I'm in 4th gear and I've not changed out of 4th. I won't be able to do that in the Astra. Nowhere on earth would I be able to do that in the twin top. Like here, still in 4th gear, it'd be absolutely dying try to do this at this speed in 4th gear. Nowhere on earth it'd pull up here like this. I'd definitely have to be in 3rd. It's so much more flexible to drive this car, having the low end torque of the 8-valve engine. So yeah, that's my plan for the Mark 1 Cav. I'm just going to see if I can get it to run right, and then if that works, then one of the next plans is going to be to potentially put the old tank back on, and then do an external swirl pot rather than the GT tank. Right, I'm going to be turning off just in a sec. Hopefully the transit's going to go straight on. So I'm fed up being stuck behind him. I'll show you this road, guys. It's absolutely awesome. The only thing is, it is very, very bouncy. So I can't actually go all that fast on here, because there's a couple of bits where it's that bouncy, the suspension bottoms out, as I found out the other week coming up this way. But look at this scenery. Isn't it beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. As I'm going a bit steadier. Yeah, suspension just bottomed out there on that bend. I've got to be careful as well, because I've still got camping gear in boot, so back end of the car is like, oh yeah, just bottomed out again. And again. But yeah, look at cliffs up in front. Look at that, absolutely stunning scenery. But yeah, when I've got an empty boot, it'll be a bit easier to drive on here at a slightly quicker speed. But as I say, I've still got all camping gear in back, front weekend, so the back end of the car's absolutely on its arse. I'm going to be pulling in up here shortly, and I'll get a little panoramic view looking around the valley. I'm not pulling at that one, I'll pull in a bit higher up. Then of course I've got my Manta as well, haven't I, guys? I've got my Manta as well. As I was talking to a few people at the show, me and Becky got talking to quite a few Manta owners. I was saying how I'd got one with needing the swan necks doing. And this one particular guy says, yeah, if you look around, probably 90 odd% of the cars at the show have had the swan necks replaced. It's that common. Oh, I've just realised I've gone past the bit where I was going to stop. Oh well, that's because I'm busy chatting. I was going to stop back down there, and I've gone past where I was going to stop. Oh well, I'll do it Thursday morning, because I'll be doing this journey again Thursday morning. I'll stop and get some photos down there. But yeah, it was saying how just about every single Manta in the car, on the car scene, has had the swan necks done. It's just such a common thing to need to be done on them. So yeah, swan necks and the front bits of the floor pans. The steering rack's got a fair bit of free play in it as well, so that's something that's going to need doing. Don't know if I'll have to actually replace the steering rack, or whether I'll be able to get it refurbished, I'm not sure. But I need to do some proper walk around videos of all my cars. I know I've been saying it for a while, but I will do. I'll do some proper walk around videos for you of each individual car. I'm enjoying this drive, guys. I'm hoping you guys are. I'll upload this video as soon as I get to work, so I won't really need to edit it, so keep it nice and simple. Yeah, this bit's a lot smoother. It's that first bit, it's up and down all over the place. Proper bouncy. But I've started coming this way now. I used to go a different route, and then I discovered this route. I looked on Google Maps because I wanted to know where this particular road went. I'm like, oh, that's where that road goes. I had no idea that that's where that particular road went. Oh god, it does go around these bends well. The only thing that lets Orwin down a little bit is the standard seats. Right guys, look at this view coming in over Sheffield. Just angle up camera so you can see it a bit better. Look at that view. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but that's looking out to Sheffield, Rotherham beyond. Awesome bit of road this. This is called Woodhead Road. No it's not. Oh, I forgot the name of Truffin Road now. I'm gonna have to turn my heater down. Got my heater on a bit this morning because I was misting up and it's only about 9 degrees. So anyway, we're nearly down onto the town road, so I'll probably end the video about here, guys. Getting down onto the boring city roads very shortly. So I'll end the video shortly. So yeah, there's a lot to come. I've mentioned it a few times as well. I was going to be doing the car stories videos, talking about my different cars I've owned over the years. I am still planning on doing that. It's just been one of them things. I used to always do my videos while I was driving Orwin, but then obviously Orwin's been off the road, and I've not been as bothered about doing my videos driving the Astra because it's not as interesting. But now Orwin's back on the road, I've got the urge to do my videos again. So yeah, there will be more coming soon. I'll angle that so you can see view again. Don't know if you can really see it very well on the camera, but anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you've made it this far, well done, because it is like a 27-minute long video. Yeah, if you made it this far, put in the comments White House. No, not White House, Roundhouse, because that's what we've just driven past up there, the Roundhouse. Put that in the comments and then I know that you've made it this far, and I'll be interested to see how many actually have. Alright guys, catch you next time. Laters.